Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today looking at some more lager, some that I got from Joe, aka Jow's Arcade over in the States. He sent some local beer, which is awesome because they make some fantastic beer. It doesn't get any views, which is a shame, but probably because a lot of people can't get it besides if they're in the San Diego area. But at North Park Brewing Company makes really good beers. Hop Fu is still one of the better West Coast IPAs I've had in a while. Henrik and I reviewed Wizard Cup, which was a collab with Modern Times, and it was an interpretation of one of these beers, which was like modern American lager or a modern American pilsner, as they've also called it, where they basically take the American tradition of brewing very light pilsner type beers or lager type beers, like Budweiser and macro beers, but they also add maize and all this, but then they do it right and they add American hops. Really cool. Wizard Cup was awesome. So Wizard Cup is a riff on this beer, which is Party Cup. And besides Party Cup, we also got Hitcha with Citra. And I think it's pretty much the same base recipes for beers. It's just like single hop and with a different name, because Hitcha with Citra is made with all different variants of Citra hops. Like it's got Citra Incognito, dry hop with Citra Cryo, and regular Citra, whereas this has got Mosaic and I think Mosaic Lupomax, and it was also Mosaic Cryo, it's something like that. It had like all kinds of different types of Mosaic. They don't talk about the malt backbone on Hitcha with Citra, but I think it's the same because they look exactly the same. It's Pilsner malt and torrefied flake maize, and I'm guessing that's to keep the whole macro thing a part of it, but it should also provide a little bit of body. But one thing that was fun with them, like compared to German lagers, head was super fizzy and gone within, like, this is the head that's left, and it's clean glassware, which is pretty well. There are some small fat bubbles, because I wiped it with my towel, whatever. But the head didn't stick around. But it was the same with Wizard Cup. The head wasn't too, nice and thick, and it kind of bubbled away. It could be because they use a lot of hops in these beers. We'll see. But I think we'll start with Solo Cup. Was that the name? Party Cup? That's probably trademarked. That's why it's called Party Cup. But I think we should start with that one because I think that's the beer that kind of launched all this. Joe talked about this one. He really likes it. So we'll see what we think. I really liked Wizard Cup. So pours a very, very pale, crystal clear pea yellow color. It is so bright and light. Again, what head is there is white. Let's check out the aroma on Party Cup. Oh yeah, so much Mosaic blueberry. Man, this smells good. It almost smells like an IPL, but it was the same as Wizard Cup, like it was towards IPL territory, but it also just kind of smelled like smelling an American macro lager, but just very clean and crisp, but with a huge dose of modern hopping. Yeah, like that kind of dank blueberry-esque Mosaic flavor is totally there, and I love it. It basically, I'm guessing Wizard Cup was a riff on this where they just added strata as well, or not just, but something like that. I think that might have been, was there rice or there was some other things in there too, but man, it smells really good. Canning, there's no canning date on this can, there's nothing. So I don't know how fresh or old or whatever it is, but it smells really good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Almost like a candy kind of hop note. Lemon drop candy. Straight to the face. That's what that's meant for. Wow. Crushable. Like, I could use more bitterness. Like, just a little bit more bitterness, but there's a lot of Mosaic flavor. Man, this is like crazy session beer. Are you nuts? I could chug a 1 liter stein of this, like almost. It is so quaffable and refreshing. But I do think it needs a little bit of bitterness. It's just personal preference. But, American macros are kind of like this. It's very much like a very well-made American macro kind of craft interpretation, but with a boatload of Mosaic. It'll be fun to see what my girlfriend thinks of these, because we just shared 2 really good Czech lagers, and this is totally new school and different compared to that, because she's also having these. But yeah, it's really good. Really quaffable, really thirst quenching. I will say, like, the malt backbone is pretty much non-existent almost. I'm not really tasting any kind of. There's a little bit of sweet kind of brandy malt, but compared to Wizard Cup, I got more. Maybe that's age. I don't know, but to me, it's like just. It's almost like drinking carbonated Mosaic beer. That sounded stupid. Carbonated Mosaic seltzer almost. I don't know. Maybe not exactly because it still tastes like beer, right? But because seltzer doesn't. Although I haven't really had much hard seltzer, but we've got some smooge coming. We'll see what we think of that. It's so crushable though. It's just so much like it's just straight Mosaic flavor, and it's right on the edge where it's not too much. Like it's that Mosaic blueberry note. It's like all the bright flavors Mosaic, a little bit of dankness, a little bit of pineapple, but it's so blue, like forest, just like darker berry. Blueberry is probably the best term really as people talk about Mosaic, but there's so much of that. Like it screams iconic Mosaic flavor. Really good, and I almost crushed this glass already, so I think we should move on to the next one. So Hitcha with Citra, same ordeal, same color, same head, probably the same base recipe. Let's check out the aroma on this. Oh yeah, it's the same, just Citra aromas. But that's also what I expected. I'm almost getting like a gummy candy vibe on this, interestingly. And almost elderflower. But totally sweet citrus. The huge, like, sweet citrus mandarin orange thing is really there. But what's interesting, because there's not next to no sweetness at all, because it's a Pilsner, it's 5%. The character of both hops shine more in their bright departments. So, like, bright flavors. So it's not, like, really overripe or, like, that super juicy, as like, what do you get in New England IPAs? I know it's a combo of esters and all kinds of things, but it's just, like, it's more like a pure profile of the hop, if you can say it like that. Like it's really orangey, but also lemony and also a little bit dank. But I think I might, just on the aroma alone, like this one a little bit more, Party Cup, just because I love Mosaic. I love Citra too, but it smells really crushable like hell. Let's try it. Cheers. I think this might be fresher. That has even more flavor. Seriously, if you lived in Southern California where it's blazing hot and this is your local brewery, this is what you'd be drinking all the time. Seriously. It is so quaffable and so tasty and so refreshing. Like, again, it's dry, which is really nice, but if it just had a little bit of bitterness, that would have been perfect for me. But, and again, as I said previously, if it's, this interpretation of American macro kind of stuff, then it's, quite all right. But, man, it's such a crusher. And people will talk about it's thin and kind of like light, and it's a 5% lager. Joe went a bit nuts with people talking about these, and I totally understand why, because people being dicks about these beers because they're not like hazy IPAs or like just huge flavor bombs. Like they are flavor bombs, but they're just 5% and they're hugely crushable. They're like just meant for a different thing. They're not meant for 10, 15 centiliter pours or whatever. It's 8 ounce pours, 5 ounce pours, 6 ounce pours. I don't know how people do pours at breweries there, but it's meant for a full pint and to the face, and you will have no problem drinking the entire thing because it's so crushable and just delicious. It's really well made lager. Like there's no off flavor. It's super crisp and clean. And then it just has boatloads of American hops. Like it's just really the hops that shine. It's kind of like you did a West Coast rendition of the American lager, because most of West Coast, at least south, the San Diego area, a lot of IPAs there. It's like malts are there for as a canvas for the hops to shine, and it seems kind of like the same interpretation, just with a kind of lager, macro-esque lager attempt, at least American pale lager. This one is slightly tropical true. There's a little bit of a pineapple thing for me, but huge citrus, but also good amount of dankness. Let's jump back to the Mosaic. I've drunk both of these. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna tie them, just because, they are they're so close. It's really just what you're in the mood for, but it's like jumping back and forth. I'm not really sure, but let's just do this. and do a mosaic Citra variant. I really wanted to do that for the entirety of the review. Let's see, and it's half and half. Oh man, that smells awesome. That smells so dope. It's just a mix of all the flavors I talked about. Let's try it. Cheers. Hitcha with party cups. There you go. Oh yeah, that's really good too. It's almost as if the dankness is even more intense because it's mixed, because both are fairly dank hops, and I'm still getting a lot of blueberry kind of mosaic notes on this. Man, I'm gonna crush this in the entire review. It's also a bit long, but fantastic. Totally cool, interpretation of lager. I would prefer bitterness in there, just a little bit. That's just me. But I think I'm going to tie it with Wizard Cup like a 92. Really good. I will say the Czech beers we had today, at least the light one, I'd rather drink that one, even though it's, always classic and it's more, it was just so more well balanced and it has, the bitterness and everything and whatever. I just like that a little bit more, and I think that could even be interesting with a little bit of modern hopping like that, but just a smidge. But this is really good, and the blend is also really good. 92 across the board. No charge. But yeah, fantastic. If you guys are in the San Diego area, or if you love lagers in any shape or form, you should try and get some of this. Hitcha with Citra, a party cup or a Wizard Cup even, because they're really good. If this was your local brewery and you like lagers, you'd crush this all the time. So good. So if you guys had a chance to try either of these, let me know what you thought of them. Thanks a ton to Joe for the beers. You're the man, dude. And yeah, as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I'm going to say cheers in Hitcha with party cups, and see you in another beer review.